Okay, hey everybody. I haven't done a video in a while. I haven't had anything really to kind of show, but I'm doing this. I was cleaning up a jump bug that I purchased recently, and I was working on the, took everything out, as you can see here. So I'm working on the power supply. I've mounted a switcher on the outside of it to get it all wired up correctly. And everything, I think, works. I'm doing the monitor and stuff, but when I took out the speaker, I saw that it was in pretty bad shape. There's some rips and tears in it as well, so it's definitely dry rotted and stuff. So I was going to replace it, but then I realized that I didn't really mark which ones of these were positive and negative, and a lot of these speakers don't have it marked either. So I figured what we do is go ahead and find a speaker to replace this, show you what a shielded speaker, or how you can tell something's shielded, I guess, to the best of my ability, and then determine which one of those is positive and negative. So that's what we're going to do. Be right back.
Okay, so this is the speaker here. As you can see it there, it's kind of jacked up. It's got some rips right there, especially right there. You can see that.
So the first thing we're going to do is just identify. We'll get a different speaker here. So I grabbed this one. It's a 6x9. They're both 6x9. This one actually came out of a Omega race that couldn't be saved. So, but it's a perfect match here. One of the things we need to do is check to see what the ohmage, how many ohms they are. And one way you can check this isn't the most accurate way to check for speaker resistance, but put your voltmeter on ohms for resistance measurement, and then we're going to just measure from positive to negative, and we get about 7.6. You should get anywhere between 6 and 8 ohms, I guess. You're definitely going to get less than 8, so it'll be somewhere around high 6s to the 7s. So that's definitely an 8 ohm speaker. And then we measure this one here, and we got about 7 ohms of resistance. So this is an 8 ohm speaker as well, so that's perfectly fine. The other thing you can do is, I brought this speaker here, which small speaker. I think this is an arcade speaker, or it's a little cheap speaker I think I got from maybe even Hap or something like that. It says it's 8 ohms. Actually prints it on there, whereas these don't have it printed. This one actually says 8 ohms. Whoops, right there. And 8 watts it says as well. So let's see what this one measures. Yeah, right around 7. So kind of confirms what we were saying there. The 8 ohm speaker you should get within 20% or something like that of the reading. So if you wanted a shielded speaker, it looks like this, and it basically, my understanding is it has an extra magnet on top of the regular magnet to kind of counteract the magnetic force. At least that's kind of my basic understanding. I might be wrong about that. But one way you can check to see if it's shielded or not is just drop a little metal object onto the speaker, and you can see that it actually sticks to it. So we know this one is not shielded, as the magnet is actually attracting the piece of metal to it. And this one here, if I just put the metal on there, it falls down, right? So I mean, it won't stay, right? So then you know this one is a shielded speaker. So the last part we have to do, at least as far as the speaker goes, is understand which one is positive and which one's negative. So I usually have several of these already made up with little spade type of connectors at the end, so I can hook it up to something. So we're just going to slide these spade connectors on here. And this is useful for when I test power supplies or do different things. You always need something with a spade connector and something with a Molex connector on the other side, it seems like. So. And then we want to grab a battery,
just like this. This is like just a regular 1.5. This is a C battery, 1.5 volts. And we're going to put one side to the positive. And then when we touch the negative, we're going to watch for this cone to see whether it goes actually in or out like this. And you guys could probably barely see that, but it's actually looks like it's getting pulled in. So that means that this is definitely the negative side. If I put it on the positive, reverse them, now it's going out. So you're just applying a little bit of voltage to the speaker, and I'm going to watch and see if I can actually show it here. I don't know if you can see that. It's very hard to see. I can see it with the naked eye. Let me zoom in even more maybe. There's all types of videos on this to kind of show you, but on YouTube, but I just figured I'd do one quick video to show it. That one is getting it pulled in. So the cone is getting sucked in. And this one, when you know you have the positive on the positive of the battery, when it pushes out, which is that. So black is positive on our setup here. So then I just need to, we know black is positive, and I'm just going to take a little marker here and mark that as positive, and this one is negative, like that. So that now we know exactly, you know, where we have to hook it up to, and we'll go to the cabinet and then take a voltage reading on the speaker wires so we can actually determine which wire is positive and which one's negative.
Okay, I grabbed, just to make it more pronounced, I grabbed a 9-volt battery here, and we're going to put the positive, or the black, which we now know is positive on this one, and the negative here, and see how it's pushing out the cone. That might be a little bit easier to see. And then if we reverse them and put the negative on the positive, you should see it suck in. See how it goes in like that. So anyway, we know what leads on here are positive and negative, and I labeled them. So our black is positive and our white is negative on this. And we'll go back to the cabinet. So we have the speaker wire right here, and one's purple and one's orange. Now I could probably check the you know, the schematics and actually see if it's there's a color code to see which one is speaker positive and which one's ground, and we could obviously ohm test it out to the edge connector there too, to the pin that it's supposed to be, that it calls for in the manual. But unfortunately, JumpBug, there's not a great manual out there for it that I could find. So one of the things I could do is just set my ohm meter to continuity test, or continuity, that's how I say it anyway. And then I know my ground is going to be this first pin right here. Let me see. Where's my first pin? Right there. And so I'm getting continuity there. Got to hold it on. And so I know that that's the ground, or the speaker negative, logical ground. And then if I connect to the positive, I'm getting at least an ohm there. This one, and this cap right here is ground as well. Then if I go to speaker positive, getting a little bit more resistance there. Like about an ohm or so. So I know that this one's negative and this one's positive, and then I will go ahead and mark those. And put it in the game.
Yeah, the other reason you want to, here they are, I just have them connected to the new speaker right there. So the other reason you want to have these connected, you know, the positive to the positive and the negative to the negative, is so that the speaker is, you know, not contracting when it should be expanding. They call that being out of phase. And that's not a big deal when you only have one speaker, but it does or can hurt the performance of the speaker a little bit. It won't sound as good, the bass won't sound as good, etc. So let's turn it on. I think I have my monitor hooked up as well. And hopefully we get some noise here. What the heck? My screen's upside down. So I think I'm gonna, I just did a cap kit on this monitor, and I think I know I put the yoke wires back correctly, but maybe they were swapped or flipped because the game is actually upside down right now. But we can still listen to it real quick. Or at least I thought we could, but I don't have my control panel hooked up, and so I can't hit start. I'll be right back and we can listen to it and maybe check out that yoke. Okay, so it doesn't look like I have much time left, but let's go ahead and start a game. Yeah, you can see that my screen is totally messed up, so I didn't pay attention when I... But the sound works good. Here's the volume control here. So I'm back here at the, I turned the game off and I'm back looking at the yoke of the monitor here, and you can see I have it wired up correctly. The red going to red, yellow going to yellow, green going to green, and blue going to blue. And typically, or I think all the time, your red, there's two places you can flip your yokes at. So here you can see I have tabs on my yoke here, so it makes it pretty easy to actually change it at the yoke on the monitor neck itself. But you can also change it by breaking up that connector down there. But instead of doing it that way, I'm just going to flip it right here, which is probably how it was before. And red and blue are for horizontal, so you can flip red and blue with each other, and you can flip green and yellow, which is the vertical. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to actually switch the green and the yellow, and I think that will fix our problem here. So I'm going to flip it. So we flip the green and yellow. You can see that right there. Let's go ahead and turn it on and see what we get. Nope. That's the wrong ones. We have to flip the horizontal, I guess. Now it's going the wrong way. So instead of, it's going from like left to right instead of from right to left or something. I don't know. So we're gonna flip the other ones and then we'll be right back. Okay, so I swapped the horizontal and also the vertical. So I swapped both of them. So you like red is swapped with blue and green is swapped with yellow. And let's go ahead and looks a lot better. So getting close to actually getting this game ready to be played. Go ahead and credit a little bit. And I adjusted the colors. It's probably hard to see on this through this, but I adjusted the colors on the TPG, and they it's pretty good as best I could get it. I restored the monitor but it wasn't able to get a good cutoff. So it's failing the low cutoff test, and it very little emissions left on this tube. So this tube is definitely on its last life, or last legs, I guess. But it's at least it's working, and I think the picture is pretty decent. After and recapping the monitor and stuff, everything's stable and nice and straight and everything. So, all right, I'll be back hopefully with something else soon. Bye.